Today, I am happy to introduce you to an amazing woman, Dawn Billings. Dawn is a multifaceted entrepreneur. She is the CEO and founder of the HeartLink Women's Network, the founder of two highly searched online directories, Trova Business Directory and Trova Women's Business Directory. She founded Trova Business Networking, heart-to-heart media online advertising for women, and now has a nonprofit for women and children called Charitable Heart Foundation. Dawn is the inventor of the patent-pending parent tool called Capables and the architect of the Primary Colors Personality Test, which is used around the world and within the military. In addition, Dawn has authored or co-authored over 20 books. Everything she does demonstrates her lifelong dedication to the benefit of women and children, which is why we are thrilled to be speaking with her today. I am a great fan. So I'd love, Dawn, to ask you some questions about how you do this. You are an inventor, author, speaker, success coach, and entrepreneur. How do you manage it all?
Well, I think it's so simple. I love to talk to people. I love to write. I love helping women live the dreams in their hearts. And when you put all of that together, they say that when you do what you're passionate about, money flows, which makes me the entrepreneur. And so it really just works perfectly all together.
I think that sounds great, and it sounds like you just love everything about what you do, which is really inspiring for all of us. And how did you get to where you are today? What was that path?
Well, it's really been an interesting journey. I think when you look at people's lives and the story behind their lives, you find that, there were so many wonderful things and maybe difficult things that motivated them, that taught them, that encouraged them. I grew up very, very poor. We didn't even have indoor plumbing, and I had no clothing, nothing. We barely had food to eat, and when I was in second grade, I desperately wanted to be a brownie, and there was really no way that we could afford the brownie uniform and the dues. And my second grade teacher, Mrs. Joanne Stone, contacted her sister, who lived in the East, who had a daughter that was 1 year older than I was, and asked her for her old brownie uniform, gave me a brownie uniform and paid my dues, and asked me a question. She said, "If I do this for you, will you do something for me?" I said, "Absolutely." She said, "Greatness is never an accident. It's a choice that you must make daily, multiple times. Will you choose to be great and inspire everyone that you meet to be great as well?" And that was such a serious question to me as a little girl. She totally transformed my life, because I then wasn't just, a poor piece of parsley. I was something spectacular. I was going to get to be a brownie. And I really dedicate so much of my work to the heart of that woman. And she taught me that women doing what they do naturally, being so involved, kind, charitable, generous with their time, their talents, their gifts, transform lives. And I just wanted to make sure that everything that I did in my life was in that direction. So I was the very first girl to ever graduate from high school in my extended family, or go on to college for a bachelor's or a master's, and then on to my doctorate work. And I remember my grandmother, who was very uneducated but a fabulous woman. Her husband died when her fifth baby was only 3 days old in the middle of the Depression, and she just got up and did whatever she needed to do to raise that family. And she thought that I had been in school so long, she said that she wondered if I had a learning disability. And I said, no, Grandma, I have a 4-point. She reached over and grabbed my arm and patted me and said, "Honey, in this family, 4 out of 10 ain't bad."
That is a very sweet story. Thank you so much for sharing both of those with us. I think they're both so inspiring, and it shows how much just one person can make a difference in another person's life in a very simple yet very profound way.
Absolutely.
That's very. And as you look at, where you are and your success, what has been the advice that you've received as you started your business that was most helpful?
The statement I remember most was, again, from a teacher, an early teacher, and she said, I want all of you to be little Edisons. Know that your job, no matter how many times you fail, is to ultimately bring light to the world. It was so simple, so profound, and what a great, mentor to hold Edison up, because he just kept trying to do what he was passionate about doing, and I just live like a little Edison.
I love that. In your book that you had co-authored, Delegate or Die, 12 Steps to Delegating Successfully, you talk about our lives are busy, and if we do not learn to delegate successfully, we will burn ourselves out very quickly. Without giving away all the book's secrets, what advice can you give our listeners about delegating? Because I find in speaking to women all the time, this seems to be a tough one to get over.
Well, one of the things that I think is most important, and the reason that I developed the Primary Colors Personality Test, is, first of all, we need to understand who we are and what our strengths and gifts and talents are. So many women, I find, are concentrating on the wrong thing. They're concentrating on their weaknesses. Oh, I'm so disorganized, or oh, I can't get this done, or oh, that just doesn't make any sense to me. And what we need to understand is that we were born with a set of talents. Focus on those, and then find people who were born with the talents that you weren't born with, and work with them and delegate to them what they love and that you don't love. And one of the magical things is that with a very few people, you can accomplish miracles. My team with the HeartLink Network is a group of 5 women. We have over 220 locations in the United States, Australia, Canada. We just opened the UK. We've sponsored baby entrepreneurs, women in Pakistan, Indonesia, Costa Rica. All 5 of us have very, very different strengths, and we depend on one another to simply do what each one of us is good at. Because if you will just focus on your strengths, you'll be happy, you'll feel hopeful, you'll feel, competent and never inadequate, and then you'll be surrounded by people who are picking up the pieces and love picking up the pieces that you don't like.
I think that is tremendous. That is such good advice and such a good way of looking at it. We also hear a lot from women this constant struggle and pull between work and life, especially, small business women. How do you balance your work and your life?
Well, now it's so much simpler because, of course, my sons are grown and have gone through college and, they have their own lives. And I can tell you, I feel for the women who are raising their children and attempting to work and attempting to develop a business and grow a business while they're raising their children. It is really, can be very, very complicated. One of the things that I did that I am so grateful for is that I took these little plastic rocks that you sometimes use in your yard, and I decorated them with my 2 sons. They each had a rock, and we called them talk rocks. And I said, any time that you think that Mommy is distracted, or you think I'm not hearing you, or you need something from me that you think I'm not available for, you bring me this talk rock, hand it to me, and I will know it is time for me to listen deeply and with my heart. And I'm telling you, that little symbolic rock, oh my goodness, it saved us so much grief. And there would be times that especially my oldest son, Tony, because he was really, when I was going to school, he really had to be very patient with, studying and all of the different things. And I was working while I was going to school. And he would bring me that rock and put it in my hand, and he would say, I want my mommy now. I want you to stop being a student, or I want you to stop being a business person. I want you to be my mommy right now. And it was helpful because when we get we get focused, narrowly focused. We sometimes those things in our periphery, they get blurry. But when your little child brings you this rock and says, "It's time to be mommy right now," it really brings you home.
I think that is such a great story. I love that idea. And that way you're able to deal with it. And when you see the rock, it's time to get serious about that.
Right.
That's very cute. I love that story. I noticed that in 2008, you won a place in the first ever White House Leadership Project, which was the partnership between the White House to ignite leadership of women in business and politics and the Oprah magazine. That's very excited to have been selected from 80 women out of 3,000 candidates. That's pretty remarkable. From that experience, what was it like, and what was the takeaway from that?
I'll tell you, I was so inspired by a couple of things. I was inspired that there was that much out-of-the-box, amazing creativity, altogether. And creativity feeds. Everyone became even more creative when we got together. The other thing that I was just astonished and excited about was that out of all of those 80 women, I would say that, 75-80% had come with nonprofit ideas. And it helped me, confirm for me what I believed in my heart to be true about women. Women are driven to make a difference. We are driven to find solutions to the world's problems. We're different than men in the sense that men can sometimes get caught up in power. Who has the power? And in that process of playing, hitting the power ball back and forth across the net, they can lose sight of the solutions that need to be found that are sitting on top of that net. Women, however, get in a room, no matter what their difference is, and they focus on the solutions. And they can do amazing things and come up with extraordinary answers to difficult problems. And do it on a budget because, women are used to living on a budget. And so it's very exciting when I think about the things that they were bringing to the table, the ideas that they had, the problems that they were all focused on. It was extraordinary.
I think it sounds like an incredible opportunity, an amazing event to be a part of. I also see you do a lot to get the word out about all of the various organizations that you are involved in and have started. And you do a lot of social media. How do you decide the best way to get your message out?
Well, I think that's a great question because in today's society, I feel like we have to be two things. We have to be high touch, which is why we created the HeartLink Network, for example. One of the things that I recognized in working with women was that no matter how brilliant you are, no matter what kind of great business plan you have or idea, if you're not connected with other women to help you accomplish this idea, no matter how great the ideas are, they don't get accomplished. Things really get accomplished when women are standing heart to heart and marching forward to make whatever they want to happen. So we created the HeartLink Network so that we could put women in a community together, women that wouldn't naturally or normally know each other, put them in an environment that was really supportive, encouraging, inspiring, where they could really be women, where their endocrine systems worked, where they could release oxytocin, the bonding hormone, where they could raise their neurotransmitters, both serotonin and dopamine. And in that in that arena, what you do is you create relationships that are so fabulous and strong that you feel like together we can do anything, which is really, really powerful. That's the high touch. But if we're only high touch, then we're really lost in today's society. So we also had to figure out how to be very high tech. I think that women have to communicate high tech-wise two ways. Social media, which is basically, a coffee shop online. Hi, how are you doing? Oh my gosh, look at that wonderful photo. Look at this cause. Help me with this. Go here, learn about this. This is something that we need to pay attention to, which is wonderful. And we have a very large Facebook fan page where we use our fan page a little bit differently than some people use theirs. On Wednesdays, we have what we call Share the Love, which means that we want any woman who knows a woman in business that she loves, admires, and trusts to come and talk about her. Send us her link. Tell us why they love her. Tell us why she's spectacular. On Fridays, we have Shameless Self-Promotion Fridays, which is wonderful because women are taught their whole lives to not be arrogant, not try to hog all of the attention. And we want them to have a place where we feel that they can come and just promote what they're passionate about. Tell us what they're up to, what they're doing, the products and services that they represent, the causes that are dear to their hearts. So that's the social media side. But then we realized that when people are looking for things, they're looking on the internet. So if you don't understand inbound marketing and how to get complete strangers to be able to find you and what you're doing, then again, you're losing a huge opportunity. And that's when we created our directories, the Trova Women Business Directory and the Trova Business Directory. And we're at the top of every search engine, and we help women get found under their products or services. Let's say I do healthy coffee and I live in Orange, California. Well, my dream would be for someone to type in healthy coffee, Orange, California, and there I am, in the top 10 first page, or at least the first 3 pages, because nobody goes past, the first 3 pages. So we have been very, very successful at creating a vehicle to really showcase women entrepreneurs and give them the kind of spotlight that they need in order to be successful and be found on the internet.
I think that sounds great, and it seems like you're getting such support for it, and women connect with the idea so much.
Well, and they do, because I think that women, especially, when they know that you really care about them, then they begin to care about what you're doing. So I think with the Heart Link, the directories, our Facebook, everything shows our heart. That's why we named it, the Heart Link Network.
Exactly.
And once women know that you care, then they're on board.
That's great. And with so much going on in your professional life, it certainly sounds all-consuming. What do you do in your downtime?
Oh, in my downtime, I adore my family. And any moment that I get to spend with my sons and my husband, my dogs, I just simply adore that. We are movie people. My youngest son is a filmmaker who is making a documentary or finishing a documentary right now to help end childhood obesity called Bite Size Movie. And these are young professionals who got out of USC Film School, who are incredibly brilliant, who've won all kinds of awards, have no money, no resources, and are flying with the passion that's in their hearts, sleeping in their cars, doing whatever is necessary in order to accomplish this great, enormous feat, which is to do this extraordinary documentary on how we can help end childhood obesity. So we love movies. We're passionate about movies, and in our downtime, we love to go and just enjoy escaping into those beautiful places that movies can take us.
That sounds like a great way to spend some free time, that's for sure. Well, Dawn, I have just thoroughly enjoyed speaking with you today. It has been enlightening and inspiring, and I look forward to keeping in touch with you.
Oh, me too. Thank you so much. It's been a privilege and my great honor to speak with you today.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Goodbye.